Hey guys, what's going on? It's Hocus Pocus here with episode 149 of the LP series, and firstly, this skin is awesome, right? So K9 made this skin, and I want to mention it again because I know that this series is a little bit more popular than the last... Well, I say a little bit more popular than the last video, not that it's a series at all, but a lot of you guys stick around to watch this series, so I'll quickly give you the news once again. I've decided that this is going to be my permanent skin for the time being, and as I say, made by K9, one of our viewers here, and she did a great job. Let me just take my armor off so you can see it properly, and yes, take a look at that. The logo has come to life. Hocus Pocus is now a skin, and look at those ears. I can't get a good view at them. Unless we go into the inventory here, but they look quite cool as well. I really like that. So we've got this goblin type skin, as I say, is very similar to the logo on the channel, which is awesome. There are a few changes that I want K9 to make, and she has agreed to make them, which is very, very generous of her, and I will send those over to her soon so that she can take a look at doing those for me, and then we will have a very, very cool skin indeed. Not that we don't already have one, but as I say, a couple of small changes that I want to see made, and this is going to be amazing. So without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. What I want to do is, and I'm sorry to say this once again, guys, but we are going to be working over here by the Super Smelter. And the reason why is because next episode, 150, will be the World Tour and World Download. We're preparing for that, and I figured there's no point in starting anything new today. We may as well just continue here, get as much of this done as possible. I also want to get the beginnings of a pathway as well, maybe, just coming over here so that we can link everything up. And then the tour will not have as many stops, and it will also have a lot more close to complete builds than half-finished projects. So, as I say, today, over here once again, working on the Super Smelter. Okay guys, and for the first thing that we'll do today, we'll continue with this design work that we've got here. So you can see there's a little bit of a difference between these two openings. This one is covered up, whereas this one is open and we can see out into the innards of this system, which I don't want to see because it's a little bit ugly. So we're going to grab ourselves some cobble, mossy, and some andesite, and maybe just double check to see if we've got any more of this stuff, because we're running slightly low here. So what have we got? A little bit more andesite. I'll actually replace the stack, and we might have to quickly take a trip down to the base to grab a bit more mossy. Boy oh boy, do we need to think about getting a vine farm set up. That would be really useful because right now we're using so much of this mossy stuff that the vines in the base aren't growing quick enough to replenish our stock, so we need to think about it. But for the time being, we will get by. So first order is some slabs, and they'll go in like this, I believe. Yep, there we go. And then we just want to take this up like so. If we can get a block in, we've got one in, awesome. And then again, we can just do something like this. Oh, come on, there we go. And then we kind of just want to go behind the system as well, and I'll show you how this side looks. So it looks quite ugly from the inside, but from the other side, as you've just seen, it doesn't look too bad, does it? So we're going to try and do something similar right here. And I didn't really want to fall down there, but that's okay. And as I say, we'll do something similar here, and then we'll take a look at it. Okay, guys, and for the moment of truth, in 3, 2, 1, switch. And there we go. Okay, I've missed a little bit of work, haven't I? There's a few blocks that we didn't place in under there, so forget what you just saw. Pretend that this is all things that are happening off camera, and you guys are kind of just skipping a second forward in time, you know, as it would be if I didn't have to fill these blocks in. So just pretend that that didn't happen in the video, and that happened during some off-camera footage. Well, it wouldn't be footage, would it? Because I didn't record it. But anyway, you get the picture. This is what we're supposed to see, as well as possibly this in there instead of what we did have. And then, do we need to switch out this stone block? We haven't done it here, and we haven't done it here. So that's probably something that'll come soon enough. And you know what? I think we've made another mistake, because that needs to be jungle wood. And guys, if we could just pretend that that last clip doesn't exist. Okay, guys, so the moment of truth in 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Okay, looking much better indeed. We've got the jungle wood in here on the left, the stone in and around the chest so that we can't see inside of the system too much, which is what we wanted. We may position a bit more stone somewhere around there, just because it's still a little bit visible, right? So we'll do what we can to void any lines of sight. Plus, you have to remember that once we send the carts off, everything is out in the open. So we need to just make sure that it's looking good, looking clean, looking tidy, so that whenever we can see inside of the system, our eyes aren't going to burn too much. All right, let's move on. Next up, we're going to need to do a bit of surveying, because what I want to do is I want to come over to this area here where the path links up. So we've got this path that runs through this small wooded area. It links up with the path that surrounds the sugarcane farm, and then you can enter the wheat field in through this gap here. So I want to take a path that starts here, makes its way all the way through the wheat field. So I think this will look quite cool when it's finished, because we're going to have a sort of system of paths that runs across here, and then it's going to link up to a bridge which divides the gap between this edge of the river and this edge of the river, and then it will link to a path that runs down towards the super smelter and bamboo farm. And I really think this is going to look cool when you link things up in your world with pathways. It's always a great spectacle once it's complete. So let's try to figure out where we're going to have this bridge. Now, I'm thinking that this would have been perfect, because you can see we've got a nice flat patch here and a good wide open flat patch there. But the problem is the path would have to run all the way through here, and it gets kind of bumpy towards the end. So we might want to try to link it up maybe somewhere slightly different. I don't know, perhaps here and then over to there. This could work, right? This could work. So how about we begin our pathway here, and we want to take it over in this direction. I'm just going to carve out a rough path initially, and then we'll tidy it up over time. So of course we're going to have to remove the wheat first and then start placing down some blocks. So the pathway will begin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide, and it could end somewhere around 5 wide as well, but you can see that we want to take it from this point all the way through that opening and to the other edge. Aha, check this out, guys. Check this out. So this looks cool, right? I'm really enjoying this pathway that runs through the wheat field here. And as soon as all this wheat is regrown as well on the side of the path, this is going to look very cool indeed. So what we need to do is fill in a couple of the spots where water was removed. So this guy here will need some water. Then we'll fill up a couple more buckets and do the same in a couple more locations. We've also got a few blocks that need to be re-tilled and replanted. So we'll do that. Oh no, I don't have enough space to carry the buckets. Oh no. Okay, we'll come back for that one. Or was there two? There might be a couple there. We'll come back. Anyway, let's see. So you can see over here that this soil isn't fertile. So what we'll do is just take out this guy, and we'll just go ahead and pop a bucket in there and hope that that will save those crops. This one right here, again, water. And we'll start restacking those so that we can pick up the other guys. I think there was one more somewhere around here. I could be wrong though. Okay, this guy is untilled, so we'll just use that one. I'm not sure whether or not that was actually water in a different life, but it is now, okay? It is now. All right, that one's good. That one's good. And then I also just wanted to quickly check if we've got any bare dirt patches around here at all that we can re-till with the hoe here. Yeah, it's looking relatively good on that side. How about on this side? I don't see anything immediately. And in fact, I do. I see a huge cluster here that can be replanted, and a couple more here. And the reason why we want to keep this, keep all of this area planted is just because it looks a lot better when there is a full field of wheat rather than gaps everywhere. And the big thing that's killing me here is the fact that we often get patrols of pillagers spawning here, and those guys just love to trample crops, and there's nothing you can really do to stop them. So what we'll do is we'll just spend a little bit more time off camera here preparing the field, making sure it's looking good, and then we might think about building a little bridge to bridge the gap across the river over there. Alright guys, let's do some bridge building, but first of all let's take another run through the path here, because there have been some slight changes that you will see for yourself, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. It looks quite cute and cozy as you run through is what I'm trying to say, and that is the exact feeling and look I was going for. So very good, very good. All right, let's see what we can do for a bridge. So I'm thinking for the bridge we'll use a similar theme to what we've got going on over here. So that includes the jungle wood, of course. So we'll begin our bridge with some supports right here, possibly. And then some right there maybe. So I'm probably gonna strip these just because the strip jungle wood is a texture I'm quite fond of at the moment, and it definitely looks cool. So what we're gonna do then is run some slabs. So the slabs of stone that we've been using over in the builds over there, you know, the combination of this trio right in front of us. And that means we're going to have to change up this guy as well, I think. So what we'll do is we'll remove that and we'll replace it with some spruce wood at some point. Right now it doesn't really matter too much though. And then we'll come in, we'll come in right here again with some more slabs. So let's do something like this. We can just mix and match. Okay. Probably not that. Maybe something like this instead. Okay, and then we might want to go up just one higher there, just to make sure, and then we can cap the supports with something like that perhaps, and then maybe we'll want some supports in the middle that are just slightly higher than that. So where will those go exactly? I don't know. Somewhere in the middle of the river here, I'm thinking. The pillars are in place and the bridge is under construction. So far we've got an increase of a half slab, then another half slab, another half slab, and then another half slab. But you can see we're kind of laying it out in stages. So we've got a single block, double block, and then this height here will carry on all the way over to the other side. So we just got to continue here. The design is pretty much in place. We just got to keep mixing, matching, randomizing, doing what we always do in this scenario, which is just keep things, you know, ever so similar but slightly different. That's the way this has to be. So we'll just continue with these three textures, and you guys have probably seen by now that there is a rumor going around that the next update will in fact include some sort of cave update. And the reason why people are suggesting this is because within the game's code there has been a segment of the code shows that they are implementing a 3D biome detection type deal. I don't know exactly what it is or how to describe it, but basically it will allow the game to detect the surface biome and transfer that information into the underground, which of course would be useful if they were going to add a cave update into the game. So what do you guys think about this? I mean, a cave update would be very good indeed, and it's something that I'm completely open to and exactly what I would want in the next update. And I know a lot of you guys probably feel the same way because caving has become a little bit stale. It hasn't changed in a long time, so it would be good to see something like this. But then, you know, at the end of the day, this could be preparation for a future update that they have in mind. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's coming in the next update, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But if you guys do you have any thoughts or feelings about that, please do let me know, because as I say, it will be pretty exciting if it does turn out to be the case that they are releasing a cave update. But I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet, because as you know, these things are always subject to change, and we've probably taken this a little bit too far. As I say, it could just be preparation for some plans that they've got in mind for an update that's coming later than the next one. So we'll see in due course, I'm sure. And so far they've added the bees and such, and those guys do look kind of cute, but as I say, not exactly what I'm after in the next update. What was that? Did you guys hear that weird noise? What was that? I really have no idea. Anyway, I'm going to get the rest of this bridge built off camera. I'll bring you guys back in just a sec. Strange noises. You know what, guys? I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I think we're a minor detail or two off of having the finished article. So what I mean by that is, if you look just here at the end of the bridge, we need something just to cover up this section here, and then possibly something on the other side, but that will be easier to identify once we've got the path that runs from here over to the midsection between these two builds somewhere. And that's going to be, I'll tell you what, that's going to be a hard path to build, because this area of land here isn't very... It's not very fair, you know. It's slopey, it's hilly, it's not going to work out easily for us, it's not flat, and it's generally going to be a bit of a pain in the booty to get that sorted out. But we'll do it, we'll get there eventually. But anyway, as for now, the focus is this bridge. It's complete. Let's take a little walk over it, why don't we? Just to see what it looks like when you're actually on your feet. And the reason why I'm connecting all of these paths as well is because I want this world to be accessible without the elytra. So what I want to be able to do is take these guys off and just be able to get around each of our builds, either by walking, using minecarts, boats, that kind of thing. And here's the bridge. We could add a bit of lighting to it eventually. I don't have any lanterns on me right now, but we could pop a lantern or two on this thing just to give it some light at night. But aside from that, as I say, I'm really, really pleased with it. And I like the way that the theme of this bridge kind of indicates that you're transitioning away from the build style we've got over there and moving closer to this mossy, jungly, green conglomerate of textures that we've got going on over here. So yeah, really, really pleased with how that turned out. And you know what? I don't know where we're going next in this video, but you guys will see in just a second.
Alright guys, welcome back to the video. So for me, a few real life days have passed by, and this week's been a busy one, I must say that. And also I've been a little bit under the weather as well, so you might hear that in my voice right now. I don't know if it'll come through on the recording or not, but yeah, I'm not feeling the best. So unfortunately, I was hoping to get the World Tour and World Download out this weekend, but now it seems we'll probably only get this video out, which is a little bit of a shame, but sometimes that's the way things are, and we're just going to have to deal with it and move on, I suppose. But the last thing for today's episode is just to come over here and fix up this wall, because we want everything to be looking spick and span for that tour. So I'm going to be using, again, the same block layout that we've been using all across this build, which is a combination of mossy, regular cobblestone, and a bit of andesite here and there as well. So let's just quickly get this done, and then, as I say, we'll probably wrap up this video because, I don't know, I just feel like my voice doesn't sound great in the moment, and it's probably best not to be recording when things are like this, because I want you guys to experience good content and not content where I sound, you know, like I've got a stuffy nose or an injured throat or anything like that. I don't really know where I'm going, but as I say, let's finish up this wall. I'll do it off camera and then we'll wrap this episode up. That'll do it for that wall. And as I say, some terraforming probably will need to take place to ensure that this area looks great. Also, I've noticed that this building is rather blocky, right? It looks very square, so we might try to figure out a way to alter that after the World Tour at some point. Because if we take a look from over here up at the 100 subscriber monument, anywhere is good. Just take a look at the building. It's very flat, very square, very blocky. So perhaps we'll try to mix that up, as I say, after the World Tour. But who knows? And I'm not really sure what I would do to change it, but we'll figure something out, I bet. Anyway, you guys, as I say, that was the last part of this video. I'm going to wrap it up because, you know, voice isn't feeling great. I don't want to make a video where the audio doesn't sound all that good. So I hope you enjoyed this one. It was a bunch of fun. I really had a great time building that pathway over there in the bridge. I think it looks really cool. Just to have, you know, like I say earlier in the video, when you link everything up with paths, I don't know what it is, but it just makes everything look so quaint, so cozy. And we're going to take one final look at our work from up here. And yeah, that looks really, really cool. I like it a lot. Okay then, guys. Take care. Bye-bye. I will see you in the next one.